Welcome back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Just one batter missed. Angelo Despina lines out to third base. This ball is going to be chopped here by the 9-hole hitter Tres Gonzalez. Count is 0-2. Cam Schlittler looking for a quick 1-2-3 inning, which would mirror his counterpart in Spencer Miles. After loading the bases and allowing one run to come across, Miles works 2 strikeouts and a quick 1-2-3 on his side. Schlittler with a chance to do the same. Here comes the 0-2. And that'll miss upstairs. Count goes even. Our count goes to 1-2.
Yeah, similar start to what we saw from Schlittler in that first inning. Was well on his way to an efficient first inning, and then 3 straight walks kind of took a detour.
This ball is going to be tipped foul. Count stays here at 1-2. And I believe we're basically all caught up. Again, we were kind of on our toes trying to get all of our equipment good to go, but I think we're set to continue bringing you baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network as Cam Schlittler, working from the windup, brings home the pitch. This one swung on and hit right at Putz, who scoops it a good play there, and that is your 1-2-3 inning. So the score is still 1-0. Harwich leading it. We head to the break. When we come back, the third inning of play. Again, 1-0 Harwich here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. Colin, after a lot of offense, despite just the one run, a lot of hits being had, a lot of base runners in the first inning, 2 1-2-3 innings, these pitchers starting to settle in. Maybe we won't be in for that highest scoring game that I thought we might have.
Yeah, complete opposite of what we've seen since then. But you'll see that throughout the Cape League. Sometimes pitchers have a bit of a jittery first inning, but they really settle in just like that.
And speaking of guys that have settled in, Spencer Miles will now face Press Kavanaugh, Brock Wilkin, and Carter Putz. And again, he really did labor a bit. The one advantage you do have if you're Harwich, they were getting the guys on with hits, it seemed, more so than the 3 walks that loaded the bases on the other side. As this ball is going to be chopped to the first baseman, picked up by Despina. Despina, close play there, had to try to get out of the way of Kavanaugh, but is ultimately able to tag the bag in time, 1 away.
Yeah, he had to go deep in the hole to knock that one down. Kavanaugh busting it down the line. That's the second time he's really forced a close play in this one. There was a ground out to second that he almost legged out. So despite being a DH, Kavanaugh has some sneaky good speed out there. Of course, him being an outfielder, you kind of need that. But still, 1 quick out, just what Miles needed to build off of that 1-2-3 inning.
So that brings up Brock Wilkin, who got the first inning shenanigans started for the Mariners with a double. And it was kind of a weird play. We were off the air when that happened, but kind of a unique play as he hit the ball out in the outfield. And to give us an update on that play, as again, he was keeping an eye on it while we were troubleshooting, we go now to our sideline reporter for the first time this season, Tim Foley. Tim?
Yeah, so what had happened was Wilkin had skied one up in between the gap and right in center field, and then the 2 outfielders, they were both running in on it without really looking down or acknowledging one another's presence. And next thing you know, they collided. It wasn't too hard of a collision as they were both coming to a halt as the ball was reaching its conclusion, but they collided and it was enough to get down.
Thanks for that sideline report, Tim. Again, Tim Foley handling sideline reporting duties today as this ball fouled away here by Brock Wilkin, and the count goes now to 2-2. So it was a Wilkin double, a Putz walk, a Beck single, and then a Chris Newell RBI single that got the Mariners on the board. That is currently the score, 1-0 in favor of the M's. Right now a 2-2 count on Brock Wilkin. Pitch on the way, and Wilkin hits this one a ton. You can kiss it goodbye. Another home run for Brock Wilkin, and he will trot around the bases. It's now 2-0 Mariners, and Colin Casey, that ball never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Everyone in the ballpark knew that ball was leaving. That's what happens when this kid squares one up, his third of the season. He just put a charge into that one. That cleared everything in left field. Look out in the parking lot. I mean, he just demolished that baseball.
As we were pulling in, I know Tim Foley was worried about where he parked, but I told him he'd probably be safe. I'll tell you what, if Wilkin gets a hold of another one like that, I'm not convinced that Tim's windshield's going to hold up. So how about that? A 2-0 ball game here for the Harwich Mariners. A little bit of momentum here, and this one coming with one out. That'll bring up Carter Putz, who tips the first pitch that he sees back into the glove. Count goes to 0-1. But, sometimes you have to watch the outfielder. You got to kind of keep an eye on where it goes. That one, the outfielder gave it about half a look before he turned it back and headed to his position. As the 0-1 fouled away, it'll make it an 0-2 count.
Yeah, I'm sure folks at home knew by the sound of that one, just from the microphone picking that one up, that they knew that ball was going a long way, and that doesn't do it justice. I think it one-hopped over the chain-link fence beyond the bleachers into the parking lot.
Yeah, I don't think there was anybody even within range to make a catch on that in the stands. This ball is going to be grounded weakly back to first, and it will fortunately toe the line. The first base line, we wouldn't have any concern about that. But, Colin, while we're bringing up interesting features of Spillane Field, the third base line here, it's just I guess crooked would be a good word for it. It's kind of towing the line between the grass and the gravel here at Spillane.
Yeah, this ballpark's just like one big optical illusion. I mean, it's like ever-changing every single time. You don't know what you're going to get every time you come down here.
Spillane Field certainly is like a box of chocolates. You could say that. Here comes the 0-2 as this one misses up and out. And, if you put a swamp out in right field or some other more colorful features, I suppose this is the kind of park that you could see, with some of the hazards in a backyard baseball game or perhaps a Mario baseball game. It's so strange, some of the features here of Spillane. As a swing and a miss here will be a strikeout issued to Carter Putz. That is K number 4 on the day here for Spencer Miles, who's had his strikeout pitch working today, Colin.
Yeah, it was a good bounce back after giving up the long ball. It's already his 4th strikeout in 2 2/3, so he has been getting it working, but we'll see if that mistake, that tough 2-out rally that he allowed in the first inning, plus the rocket from Brock Wilkin, the brocket, I should say, as a lot of Wake Forest fans are accustomed to saying, just a couple of mistakes. I mean, this Mariners offense can be inconsistent at times, but they are very opportunistic.
I was about to say, there is a technical term for that, but you hit on it as soon as you said it, the old brocket out to left field. Right now, an 0-1 count to Jordan Beck, who singled his first time up, digging in from the right side. Beck, of course, one of the newer additions. A lot of new guys in the lineup here for the Mariners. Not new in terms of making their debuts, but certainly new, not as much as experience, guys that got in within the last week.
And Beck's also a guy who's capable of putting one out towards those bleachers. He actually did it in batting practice earlier, put one about halfway up the football bleachers.
Next pitch misses up and out. Count goes here to 1-2. It's, the typical turnover that you see here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, but it is interesting. If you go back to the Harwich Mariners opening day roster the opening day lineup rather, the only names that are still in the lineup right now, actually the only name is Tatum Levins and Brock Wilkin.
Yeah, I remember 2 years ago, Tyler, that first game in Falmouth. You looked at that first game, then you got to about this point in the season in 2019, and we're like, this lineup is just so different. It's crazy how much turnover there can be here in the Cape League.
The 2-2 swung on and fouled away here by Jordan Beck. And again, talking about some of the newer arrivals here, of course, Carter Putz and his teammate from Notre Dame, Zach Preisner, getting into the Cape about 2 weeks ago. And instant offense, we've kind of brought that up a time or two. Carter Putz, our player of the week. And then recent arrivals here for Jordan Beck, Chris Newell, and Max Codier. The 2-2. That'll miss upstairs. Count worked full here to pitch right around the eyes of Jordan Beck, who tries to keep the inning alive here with the M's. It's a full count. So 2 away here. Mariners leading it 2-0. Top of the third right now. Nobody on base. And a 3-2 count to Jordan Beck. Spencer Miles working out of the windup. Kicks and fires. And this one fouled away again, so spoiling yet another payoff here is Jordan Beck, who is fitting right in here with the Harwich Mariners in terms of long at-bats.
Yeah, there's a Harwich Mariners lineup that loves to drive starting pitchers' pitch counts up early and often. They've been doing it right here, that long first inning with 2 away, and Beck's trying to start a rally of his own.
Next pitch, fouled away again, and we will see now the 9th pitch of the at-bat, as just fouling off everything he sees is Jordan Beck. And, you know, this always favors the hitter, because you see everything the guy wants to put you out with, and sooner or later, you got a guy in Spencer Miles that's got nothing new to throw at you.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of have to keep going back to the same pitch over and over.
And just as I say that, breaking ball in the dirt, strike 3. That is strikeout number 5 on the day. And Jordan Beck will be retired here, but not before Brock Wilkin puts one over the left field fence, and the Harwich Mariners take a 2-0 lead. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey as we get set for the home half of inning number 3. First pitch swung on, a diving stop by Wilkin, sets, fires to first in time. How about that? Brock Wilkin gives the Mariners a 2-run lead with a home run, comes back and makes a phenomenal defensive stop. 1 away in the inning as he retires Tommy Troy.
Yeah, who said he was only just a bat? I mean, he's got incredible range over at third. We know he's got a strong arm, and he showed off both of them there, moving to his left, able to knock that down right before it got to the gravel, and perfect throw on to first.
Next pitch swung on, this time taken to short as they'll work it around the horn. This one thrown, dug out by first by Carter Putz. And how about that? 2 pitches, 2 outs. Maximum efficiency here for Cam Schlittler.
Yeah, I think you can assume that Cade Kern, who's stepping in, is going to be swinging at the first pitch and trying to avoid a 3-pitch inning. But great defense from the left side of the infield to start this one off. That might have been even a tougher play despite Wilkin having to dive. I mean, that was a backhand from Preisner. Just such a tough throw and a good pick over at first as well.
Absolutely. First pitch swinging, and coming up empty here is Cade Kern. So the very elusive 3-pitch inning will not, in fact, belong to Cam Schlittler, but an opportunity for a quick 1-2-3. His next offering is swung on and lazily flied out to left, tracking it over and watching it drift into foul territory is Jake Lazaro. And let's go back to our favorite recurring segment, Weird Things in Wareham.
I know where this is going.
So for those of you at home who obviously do not have the luxury of a video broadcast tuning into us, first of all, we say thank you for being here this evening. But out in foul territory in left field, well within the fence, there is a goalpost. Yes, a football goalpost that technically, hypothetically speaking, you could run into while tracking a ball into foul territory. Schlittler misses this pitch and the count goes to 1-2 here on Cade Kern. Just one of the many, let's call it, adventurous features here at Spillane.
And maybe the most dangerous.
Absolutely. Schlittler's next offering swung on and taken foul down the third base line. Count goes to 1-2. I think we're quickly running out here, Colin, of these interesting things, but again, it's just so fascinating. Every time you come here to Spillane, you just don't know what you're going to see.
Don't worry about it. The next time we come here, and I think it's July 24th, we'll find something new to bring up.
Absolutely. In the meantime, here's the 1-2 offering from Schlittler. Swing and a miss. Strike three. He got him. Cade Kern down on strikes. And with that, Cam Schlittler has now retired the last 7 batters he has faced. To the 4th inning we go. Mariners lead at 2-0. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. I want to remind you that today's game is brought to you by Milton Cat. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer for all your Caterpillar sales and rentals, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. And now for the next 3 innings of play-by-play, assuming, of course, that it stays dry enough up here for us to do it from atop the third base dugout, my broadcast partner, Colin Casey. Colin, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler. Literally handing over the duties this time, as we've got the handheld mic. Top of the 4th inning here from Wareham, Massachusetts, as Chris Newell looking to continue his strong start to his Harwich Mariners career as he leads things off in this inning. He singled and drove in a run in that first inning, part of that 2-out rally, and he will still face Spencer Miles, who's out for his 4th inning of work, looking to limit the mistakes. And there haven't been a lot of them, but every single time it seems like the Mariners have gotten someone on base, it's led to runs. I mean, that's exactly what's happened, really. So Miles looking to get back to where he was in that 2nd inning and try to be efficient with a 1-2-3, and he starts off Newell with a healthy-looking fastball for strike 1.
Yep, and he's had the strikeout pitch working, but a big part of that, of course, has been that he's been able to set it up well. He's been getting ahead in counts with the exception of that 1st inning and looking to get ahead again here with an 0-1.
Newell hits this one out to right field, but it will fall in there for Kern to make the catch. And that is a quick out number 1 to begin the top half of the 4th. That'll bring up Zach Preisner, who made quite the play in the top half of the 4th inning.
Yeah, a couple of guys with some really good defensive plays in the top of that inning, and now an opportunity to try to add on to things in the bottom half, as this is, again, been a game with some decent pace to it here early on with the exception of that 1st inning. And that may be important as we've got some inclement weather potentially coming in here.
First pitch from Miles to Preisner is in the dirt for a ball. Yeah, as you mentioned, I think there's a severe thunderstorm warning actually in effect, but it looks like, at least for now, we have about a 40 to 50 minute window before that weather actually starts moving in to the gateway of the Cape here in Wareham. As Preisner hits this one a ton out towards center field, that will send Gonzalez back, but he's got enough room in front of the fence to make the catch. And quickly there are 2 down in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, a couple of really well-struck balls here by the Mariners, but again, to the deepest part of the ballpark that time for Zach Preisner. Did a good job of getting a hold of it, but again, just not the spot you want to hit that to. And this is what we're seeing Harwich get now. I think the worst batting game that they had throughout the course of the season was against Brewster. We talked to Coach Tebow after that. He said just a lot of soft contact ground balls. That has not been the case here today. They've been barreling up the ball well, and the runs will follow as they already lead it here 2-0.
First pitch to Jake Lazaro misses below the knees. Yeah, that was one of those games. They didn't strike out a lot. I think there were 5 strikeouts as a team. And, usually that leads to a lot of runs, but they only got 2 hits thanks to some outstanding defense by the Whitecaps as Lazaro swings and slices this one down the left field line. Diodati over, and he makes the catch in front of the fence, and that will end the inning. So another quick half inning. This time the Mariners go down in order. We head to the home half of the 4th. Harwich 2, Wareham nothing. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. To the bottom of the fourth we go from Wareham, where the Mariners own a 2-0 lead and look to improve to 2-0 against the Gatemen this season. Of course, this being the back end of a home-and-home that started on Monday before the Mariners had yesterday off. And interesting development, as currently in its second for the Mariners, it is not Max Codier who we initially expected. It's actually Hal Hughes, who did take that first at-bat in the second inning, grounded out to third, but now he's there. And, yeah, really interesting development, but the Rice second baseman currently in at his natural position. Well, he's actually a shortstop most of the time, as the first pitch is grounded foul off to the right by Owen Diodati.
And obviously this is just a little light speculation, but there are only 2 guys left that are draft eligible, I believe, still on the Harwich Mariners roster, Carson Seymour and Hal Hughes. So good to see Hughes getting some more reps here before what could potentially be the end of his Cape League season. Again, just a speculation. That's not official, but you never know.
Count now even 1-1. Schlittler has now set down each of the last 7 batters.
And we have an update from out in Katuitt. That game called due to darkness already, which is interesting at this juncture as this pitch is fouled away. Makes it a 1-2 count. So Chatham just can't buy a win right now. An 8-3 victory for the Katuitt Cavaliers. Again, a 7-inning darkness game.
Yeah, it is on the earlier side. We haven't even hit 8 o'clock yet. You wonder if there's some serious clouds moving into that area out in Barnstable County. Of course, us being in Plymouth County, as pitch misses low to even things up 2-2.
And that'll give us an opportunity to mention, of course, playing Cape Cod baseball for the first time, not on the Cape, here just off it.
2-2 from Schlittler is hit hard on the ground up the middle, fielded cleanly by Preisner. The throw onto Putz is in time for out number 1. So make it 8 in a row retired by the Northeastern Husky Schlittler. He is really in his zone after that shaky first inning in which he walked 3 batters.
Yeah, I mean, walking 3 consecutive guys, obviously you always worry, is this going to affect the pitching performance going forward? But he came back, he got a quick fly out, and yeah, since then he has looked dynamite. And he doesn't have to do it with strikeouts. He's been pitching to contact, and his defense has been picking him up.
First pitch is swung on and fouled back by Yohandy Morales, and the big thing is he's been starting a lot of these Gatemen off with strikes since walking all those guys in the first inning, as pitch misses low to even things up 1-1. So I think that has certainly changed the way that things have been going, as Schlittler working quickly and fires in a strike 1-2 now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Berger had a word with him about that. Again, that's kind of the big thing here for Harwich, for a lot of the teams on the Cape. You don't want to fall behind some of these excellent hitters from around the country, and right now Schlittler doing a good job staying ahead.
1-2 up and away with the fastball. So 2-2 as Schlittler toes the rubber again. Pitch to Morales. That'll miss low. Count now full. Justin Williams waiting in the on-deck circle for the Gateman. Payoff pitch is hit a ton out towards center. That will drive Newell back. He's heading towards the fence, and he reaches up at the wall and grabs it with about 3 feet to spare, as it's a long out number 2 for the Mariners.
Colin, I just realized something. I don't think we brought this up in 2019 at all, but there is one other interesting feature here at Spillane that I don't think we've mentioned. We talked about the fact that out in left field is the football field. You can see the goalposts, one of them within the field of play, or correction, within the fence, but because of that, there is no warning track here at Spillane.
It's a great point, as that pitch over for a strike to Justin Williams, the designated hitter. Yeah, I mean, that can be really dangerous as an outfielder, as you're running full speed back there towards a chain link fence. Not a whole lot of protection as that ball fouled straight back. So you really have to know where you are at in that outfield patrolling here in Spillane.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I had a freshman at Arizona State one time ask me why they called it the warning track, and, well, it's kind of in the name. It's there to let the outfielder know that the fence is coming.
0-2 is chopped foul. Yeah, similar to those rumble strips you see on the up and down the highway, where you start to realize you're kind of drifting towards the edge of the road. It's something that you might not pick up on if you're an outfielder normally, but all of a sudden a ball gets hit over your head and you're kind of wishing that there's that dirt there, as there's a line drive out towards left field on a line, a dive and a catch made by Jake Lazaro. He stumbled a little bit making his way towards that ball, but at the last second, just a little bit of a half dive, and he comes up with it to end the inning. 10 straight retired for Cam Schlittler and the Harwich Mariners. We head to the 5th Harwich 2, Wareham nothing. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Fifth inning from Clem Spillane Field. Colin Casey alongside Tyler Henry bringing you live coverage of the Harwich Mariners visiting the Wareham Gatemen. Mariners looking to make it back-to-back wins against the Gatemen, and they've already chased Spencer Miles from the game, so those long at-bats certainly paying dividends as Miles is done after 4 innings of work, giving up 2 earned runs on 4 hits. Was able to get that strikeout pitch working as he fanned 5 and also walked 1. The new pitcher in this one, it's going to be Jack Brannigan, who is from Notre Dame, so he's very familiar with a lot of guys in this Harwich Mariners lineup, Tyler.
Yeah, and interesting because, again, Brannigan listed as an infielder, and he was in the lineup a couple of days ago as the designated hitter. So switching over and into a different capacity here, and you wonder how taxed this bullpen is already with all those guys going to Team USA.
They'll be greeted by the 9-hitter Hal Hughes, who is 0 for 1. First pitch fastball misses up and in to Hughes. Hughes formerly of LSU, now of Rice. The second baseman swings and fouls one straight back. Funny enough, Eric Raiselman recently declaring that he will be joining LSU this upcoming season. So one Mariner leaves, another joins the Tigers. The 1-1. Pitch comes in and grazes the arm of Hughes, and he will trot down to first base. It is a hit by pitch, and the Mariners have the leadoff man on for the first time in this game.
Yeah, and now an opportunity to try to build off something early instead of trying to find it late here for the Mariners. Good part of the order due up here to do it as well. As we mentioned, top of the lineup coming up here in Levens, Cavanaugh, and Wilkin to face a guy that, again, we'll get some more numbers on him here. Not 100% sure how much pitching Jack Brannigan did beyond high school.
Yeah, unique situation for Brannigan, and not exactly the start he was looking for, as Tatum Levens, the leadoff hitter, takes one.
And a quick update here on Brannigan. He pitched just 4 innings in 2021, but he did record 3 saves, which was tied for the team lead. Had a 1.93 ERA as a freshman at Notre Dame.
Illinois native comes home, and he misses 2-0, so control maybe shaking off a little bit of rust here and showing that he hasn't had a whole lot of pitching over the last calendar year. And out comes his catcher, Jimmy Crooks, to kind of calm him down and settle the nerves.
Yeah, and kind of getting thrown in at an interesting point of this game, but also interesting to see Spencer Miles depart so early. Really didn't have any kind of a crazy pitch count, and aside from the big home run and a couple of pitches that got away from him back in the first, he had looked pretty good. So, an interesting, unique situation here, but now the Mariners get to face a different arm, and more importantly, this bullpen, they get to it with a lead as opposed to being down.
There is someone warming in the Wareham bullpen, but we can't even tell you whether it's a righty or lefty because there are some advertising banners that block that right field wall. Another unique aspect of Spillane Field, but there is someone getting loose. As far as the Harwich bullpen, can actually see a little bit better as it's on an elevated surface beyond the left field fence as the home plate umpire breaks up the mound visit And we got a 2-0 count to Tatum Levens.
Of course, we can tell you that Spillane Field is sponsored by Cool Cone, which, judging by the drawing, is apparently a local snow cone shop. Be sure to stop by Cool Cone after today's game.
And that is not an official sponsor of the Harwich Mariners. And our own Tim Foley says it's actually a right-hander warming in the pen. The 2-0 just below the knees, and Mariners working the count early on another pitcher. This time Brannigan struggling to find the plate. 3-0 to Levens, who's 0 for 2.
Yeah, this entire game just has a weird vibe to it.
That one is over for a fastball called strike.
I mean, typically you see a lot more kind of independent offense throughout the inning, guys getting on base, but recently both sides have kind of just been working quickly. And we saw this at Spillane a couple of years ago as well. There's something about this park that just leads to some quick ball games.
3-1 is sliced off to the left out of play, so Brannigan fighting back, able to fill the count. 3-2 count now. Hughes takes his lead off of first. Brannigan from the stretch, the pitch. Line drive, base hit into center field. A good job of two-strike hitting from Tatum Levens as he's now 1 for 3. Hughes advances to second, and the Mariners are in business here to start the 5th.
And you got the feeling it was only a matter of time before Tatum Levens' bat was activated for this game. Now the first two guys aboard, and you've got, again, a very dangerous part of the lineup due up here. Kavanaugh, Wilkin, and Putz. With Press Kavanaugh also looking to break a little early 0 for 2 here. Due up next.
Yeah, Kavanaugh, who started his season 2 for 11, since then has been red hot. Had himself a 3 RBI game a couple of nights ago at White House Field. Just has done a nice job of hitting with runners in scoring position. He has one here. First pitch he watches is a fastball called for strike 1.
Of course, the book does close on the starter Spencer Miles. He completes 4 innings of work, gives up 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. As Brannigan now responsible, of course, for the runners on first and second starting this inning.
Brannigan with another fastball over 0-2. So the control starting to come back here after hitting Hughes and going down 3-0 to Levens. The question is, can he record a big out? Maybe roll double play ball with his middle infielder shading towards a second base bag.
Yeah, a double play, a strikeout, anything that cuts the lead runner down is going to give Brannigan that confidence back. But until then, nerves certainly a factor right now.
The 0-2, chopped towards the first baseline. It will be foul just outside as Despina out there to glove that one foul.
Of course, Colin, without the headsets on, a little bit easier to hear some of these calls instead of relying just on the visual cues. And it's kind of nice, I will say, the first time this year that you and I have been on the call, or any combination of us have been on the call without the headsets and able to, again, I mean, hear every little detail, the crack of the bat, the pop of the mitt, all of it, just coming in here almost in HD compared to what we're used to hearing out of our headset microphones.
One of the few silver linings of the technical difficulties we've experienced here tonight. The 0-2 in the dirt. Nice stop by Crooks. Both runners stay. Hughes had a really big secondary lead off of second, but opts to a retreat.
I mean, you got to find a way to look on the bright side, right? Although there's not really a bright side in the sky right now. Clouds starting to roll in just a bit. And again, I'd be interested to hear what happened out there in Katuitt because, again, as you mentioned, very abnormal for a game to be called the darkness before 8:30.
Ground ball right side, and it's off the runner. And he should be ruled out, but no signal as Hughes is going to come in to score. Levens is at third as the gatemen are protesting. That ball clearly hit off of his heel. They're going to have to rule him out. I mean, it was clear as day.
That was pretty blatant, and I think the interesting thing about that, your first base umpire was looking at something completely different. The guy right in front of it turned and looked at the runner heading to third. By the time he turned his head around, he completely missed what happened with the baseball there. And again, I'm going to try to keep my voice down a little bit now because, again, we're standing right on top of the dugout. It's not within earshot of the umpires or anything like that. Not that we would have any forbearing on that whatsoever. But if none of them saw it, they can't overturn it. But, yeah, Colin, up here, it's clear as day to you and I. That clearly went off the foot of the runner and bounced into the outfield, very much affecting the play. So, in theory, you should rule him out. But at the same time, standing on third base right now, you've got Tatum Levens, who's kind of shrugging his shoulders with a grin on his face.
And you got to run in also on the play as it stands. I mean, the ball just kind of deflected out into shallow right field. Good jump by Hughes. He was able to score. The question is, where are they going to put the runners if they do, in fact, rule Levens out? I mean, this is a really strange scenario. The ball clearly hit off of Levens as he got his secondary lead and bolted towards second.
Well, I think, again, on a retroactive call like that, as they will now signal the out, and now Coach Englert's coming out, and this is interesting because that's not what I thought they were going to do, Colin. They're signaling.
Yeah, they're gonna put Hughes, I think, back at second base, and Levens is out. So it would be almost treated like an infield fly, but really, the whole situation could have been solved if they just called it right away. It was everyone in the ballpark saw that ball hit off of the leg of Tatum Levens, but now you've got Englert who's not happy about this ruling and where they're putting the runners. I mean, it could have been all avoided, but now Levens is going back to second base, but I'm pretty sure the umpires ruled him out because the ball hit him.
Right, and of course you also have to ask yourself, the run for Hal Hughes, it looks like that's potentially coming off the board. I mean, this is a whole mess, and it all starts because, again, as you mentioned, Colin, the call not made at the proper time, and Coach Englert's still having a word, and I think the word is about where the runners should be. It's just going to be interesting to see how they shake this out because, again, this all could have been avoided, but instead now they're trying to go back and piece it together, and, of course, no instant replay here in the Cape.
So Levens is still standing on second base. The field umpires haven't told him to move, but they did signal an out call, and I believe that was for Levens because he was the one who was hit by that batted ball from Prez Kavanaugh, who currently stands at first. I don't think that's going to change. So and now Levens, so they are getting it sorted out, putting Levens as called out. He trots towards the dugout, and Hal Hughes is heading back towards second base.
He's standing on third right now. Hal Hughes was summoned from the dugout, and now he's going to be pointed back to second. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be Hughes on second, Kavanaugh on first, one away for Brock Wilken, and it would be a very Brock Wilken-esque thing to do to just make all this for nothing for Wareham and put one in a gap somewhere.
So I'm going to assume that's ruled as a fielder's choice in terms of how Kavanaugh reaches base. I'm interested in how that one scored. Regardless, he is on base, and that's what I'm going to put it in for now.
Of course, now you've got Levens claiming he didn't feel it, which, of course he says that, but I'm sure that's of little to no consequence to the umpire. So it looks like we're ready to resume baseball, first and second with Wilken at the plate.
Here's Wilken, who has a couple of extra base hits in his first two trips. Watches the first pitch down and away. Doubled, came in to score the Mariners' first run in the first, and then he hit an absolute bomb over the left field fence for his third homer of the season to make it 2-0. RBI chance here as this pitch is hit on the ground towards the left side. This could be a double play. The throw to second for one. On to first is in time. So after all that, Wareham able to get out of the inning. Mariners put 2 on with nobody out but cannot capitalize. We are halfway through regulation in this one. Mariners lead it 2-0 over the Gatemen. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Home half of the fifth from Spillane Field as storm clouds continuing to move in, but we are 1/2 inning away from this being an official contest with the Harwich Mariners leading 2-0 over the Gatemen. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for Wareham as Jimmy Crooks leading things off, the catcher from Oklahoma. He flew out to begin the second inning. Cam Schlittler back out there, having retired each of the last 10 batters he has faced. He has just been lights out. Hasn't really been getting done with the strikeout pitch with only 2 thus far, but he's been given his defense a chance, and they have risen to the occasion. First pitch to Crooks misses down and away.
Well, and again, this is one of those games, of course, not a stat that means anything at all, and not even a stat that's tracked in baseball. But if you're talking about time of possession offensively, the Mariners winning that handily.
That ball sliced off to the left out of play. And in a minute, we'll take a look at the other games going on. We already talked about Katuitt beating Chatham 8-3 on a game that was ended early due to darkness. With a 1-1 count, the pitch is swung on and missed strike 2. And Tyler, you got a little bit of an update on some of the other scores?
Yeah, right now, Brewster scoring again. Hyannis just cannot get it going. 12-0 right now. The Whitecaps lead it over the Harbor Hawks. And then the Bourne Braves, they were down 2-0 going into the 6th. They currently lead it 3-2 over the Falmouth Commodores.
Pitch is in there for a called strike 3. Schlittler picks up his 3rd strikeout, his 11th straight batter retired as Crooks shakes his head, turns around, goes back to the dugout, 1 away to begin the home half of the 5th.
Yep, good start here for Cam Schlittler. And again, he hasn't necessarily needed that strikeout pitch, but when you get ahead of a guy like that, a lot of options, and he shows off what he can do, picking up his 3rd K of the day.
Here is Angelo Despina. First pitch misses below the knees. He lined out to 3rd, right at Brock Wilkin in the 2nd, his first time up.
Of course, the other interesting thing here at Spillane Field, we get to hear the defensive adjustments being called out from the dugout.
Despina hits this one out towards left center. That ball carrying back towards the bleachers. Lazaro turned around and it goes off his glove, unable to catch it. Over to play it is Newell. He throws it back in, but not before. Angelo Despina is into 2nd. We'll see how they rule it, but I think they're going to give him a double, as that was a really tough play out and left by Lazaro.
Yeah, but again, a play that's made tougher for Lazaro because you see him looking down. Usually you're looking down to try to find the dirt to kind of get a sense for where you are in relation to the fence, but no chance to do that, and of course kind of over-pursued a little bit, trying to turn his body back across, and it would have been a heck of a catch if he had come down with it. Instead, the Wareham Gateman with a tying run at the plate and a runner in scoring position.
That's Tres Gonzalez who grounded out his first time up. Runner in scoring position. Schlittler trying to rebound. Look at 2nd now, the pitch. Fastball just off the outside part.
Yeah, and this is where if you're Cam Schlittler, you've got to settle in a little bit going out of the stretch now instead of the windup, the first guy that he's had on base since back in that 1st inning. So we'll see how he responds now.
Still no official ruling on that last play. Waiting for the update, but time is called and Schlittler had already started his motion, it seemed like, and he's not too pleased. Ended up firing it into Levens, who dropped the fastball, but no pitch there. Count still 1-0.
And also, again, I feel like every couple of innings we notice something new. The new scoreboard does not have any space on it for hits or errors, just runs at the end. It's a nice scoreboard, but it is a little bit cramped out there and right.
Talk about an oversight. Despina takes his lead off 2nd, the pitch, fastball, up and away.
So with a 2-0 count, again, Schlittler not quite as aggressive, not pounding the zone the way we saw him do earlier. And we'll see if he can settle in and fire a strike here. Does not want to fall behind the hitter 3-0.
Gonzalez of Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, teammate of former Harwich Mariner Andrew Jenkins. As that pitch misses low, count now 3-0. First base is open, so that does open up the chance at a double play ball, but you do have the top of the order coming up in Tommy Trey, who's waiting in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, and that's kind of a dangerous prospect, talking about the guys coming up. You want to try to work a quick out here any way you can.
Schlittler's 3-0. Fastball, that one is over.
Yeah, obviously the bat stays on the shoulder there for Gonzalez, but now he'll be swinging away 3-1. We talk about it a lot. A hitter's count, you know this pitch has to be over the plate or you're going to be standing on first base, and this is where, as a pitcher, you really got to reach back for almost a strikeout pitch on 3-1 just to get yourself back into this at-bat.
From the stretch, a look at 2nd once more. He comes home. 3-1 is in there for strike 2, and Tres Gonzalez took a few steps down towards first base, but he is called back by the home plate umpire. It is now a full count.
Yeah, he really thought he was going to be issued a free pass, but again, this kind of gets in the head of the hitter now. I'd say advantage goes to Cam Schlittler, as he just needs one more strike to put him away, or anything easy here on the ground.
Schlittler comes set. And the payoff pitch. Lined into right field for a base hit. Beck fields it. He comes up firing home. The throw is cut off by Putz. And that strong throw does hold Despina at third. It'll be runs to the corners with still one out, and Trey coming to the dish.
Yeah, and fortunately there for Harwich, you had Hal Hughes just close enough to it. Not close enough to make the catch, but close enough to make Angelo Despina, freeze on the line drive. So he doesn't come across the score. Still an opportunity to get out of this with minimal damage done. And more importantly, you've got the double play in play as those middle infielders will come back to that depth. The question is, who will we see as Coach Berger goes out? Berger, again, not typically the guy who will make a pitching change, likely just going to have a conversation with Schlittler as to how to approach the leadoff man, who so far today is 0 for 2.
Yeah, looking towards the bullpen, it is a lefty warming up for the Mariners as they look to try to get out of this inning. Schlittler, these back-to-back hits are the first and second that he's given up so far in this game. As currently warming right now in the Harwich Mariners bullpen, it's actually Dalton Smith, the left-hander, so appears he would be the next one to come in. As back behind the plate go the catcher and the home plate umpire, and in digs Tommy Trey. As to my right, Tyler Henry, Tim Foley anxiously looking at the weather radar as we're currently in a tropical storm watch right now, but also I believe there was a severe thunderstorm warning that I think expired at 8, but I wouldn't be surprised they're extending it as we haven't seen any rain yet. As there's an excuse me swing by Trey, and he fouls it off down the first baseline.
Yeah, and looking at the radar up until about 9:30, there's a lot of weather in the area, and obviously radar not always 100% accurate, but it looks like for now things are going to be kind of going north and south of Wareham. Obviously that's the hope here as we're trying to get through all 9 innings, but we'll continue to update you as we kind of keep an eye here for our own broadcast purposes atop the third base dugout.
Pitch to Trey, fastball misses outside, count even 1-1. Tommy Trey out of Stanford, lined out to right field in the home half of the first and grounded out to third on a nice diving play by Brock Wilkin in the third inning. 1-1 runner going at first, a high pop-up, shallow right, this one could fall, Putz has to run back, makes the catch, the runner bluffs the tag, the throw comes in, and a great defensive play at first by Carter Putz. A real awkward angle he had on that ball, but he makes the catch in shallow right, fires it in, and that will hold Despina at third with 2 down.
Yeah, first things first, incredible play there, as you mentioned, by Putz, but also give some credit to Hal Hughes, who was covering the second base bag, and as Despina started working his way towards second, faked the throw back to first. Despina, thinking he was going to be hit by the baseball, kind of hit the deck there, almost got doubled up at first, as Coach Englert will come out here, and it looks like this may, in fact, be the end of the line here for Cam Schlittler. There's the motion to the bullpen, and we will, in fact, have a new Harwich hurler right after this.
Back here at Spillane Field, pitching change to tell you about as Cam Schlittler's night is done for the Mariners. He went 4 2/3 innings, surrendering a pair of hits, both coming in this 5th inning, as those 2 runners belong to him at 3rd and 1st. Has not given up any runs yet. Of course, that could always change, but at the worst, he would end up with a no decision. Pitcher is Georgia Tech's Dalton Smith, left-hander, coming in. He has made 2 appearances so far. He's pitched 5 1/3 innings. Rough first game, Tyler, June 20th against Orleans in the season opener, giving up 5 earned, but he was outstanding out of the bullpen against Chatham a week later, going 3 innings, striking out 3, just 1 hit, no runs allowed.
Yeah, I was just going to say a really strong bounce-back performance. Also kind of a high-volume strikeout guy, 8 Ks for him so far this season, looking to add on to that total, and a big spot here being thrown into the fire, but a couple of options to get out of the inning, a force at first and second, and of course, one more out will do it here in inning number 5.
Jim Jarvis steps in. He's got Despina at 3rd and Gonzalez at 1st. Gonzalez, Dalton Smith's teammate at Georgia Tech. First pitch, fastball misses up and in. Jarvis 0 for 2, struck out looking in the first, grounded out to short in the 3rd his last time up. Look at first, now the pitch, fastball in to make it 1-1.
Yep, and again, Smith, not a guy that's going to waste a lot of time kind of toying around with that strike zone. He's not afraid to go at guys, and that's what we saw through his first couple of outings. Part of the reason he got hit quite well off of in that first outing, but ever since then, he's been doing a better job painting the corners.
1-1, it misses down and in. Yeah, location, something that certainly improved in that outing against the Anglers. I mean, it's a little less of a pressure situation as Mariners did win that game by a final of 11-6. The 2-1 misses down low. Now he's in danger of walking the first batter he faces.
Yeah, and Smith, another one of those guys that, again, he had the best ERA in his conference, the 11th best ERA in the NCAA at 1.88 through the 2021 collegiate season.
Comes home with a 3-1. Swing and a miss. Blows it by Jarvis. And now with a full count and 2 outs, the runner at first, Gonzalez, will get a head start. And that could be big on a ball in the gap.
Absolutely. I was just about to say anything that has a chance to get to the fence is going to plate 2 here. Got to try to keep this thing down.
Runner going. The payoff pitch in the dirt. Levens can't find it. Play at the plate. The flip not going to be in time. Aggressive base running from Angelo Despina, and he comes across to score on the slide. Up to second, moves Gonzalez, and down to first with a walk is Jim Jarvis. So just like that, Wareham is on the board. They cut the lead in half. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and part of the danger, obviously, of only having a 2-run lead at this point in the game, and now you've got the heart of the lineup due up in Cade Kern, Owen Diodati, and Yohandy Morales with runners on first and second. So just one more out needed for Harwich, but they need it in a hurry.
Cade Kern 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Tying run at second. Smith's first pitch to him. Fastball. Levens tried to frame it, just misses. Kern from Ohio State, Buckeye. Big opportunity here. And a big cut, but he comes up empty. Count even 1-1.
Yep, a really good pitch there by Dalton Smith to even the count, and we'll see if he can come up with another big one. Again, doesn't have to be a strikeout. Just need to find a way to retire this last hitter of the inning, get your offense back out, and give yourself a chance to try to build on to what is currently a 1-run lead.
The 1-1. High pop-up, middle of the infield. Smith backpedals, called off. A collision, and Putz is able to make the catch as Wilkin Wilkin was actually the one who came up with it. As Putz says, my bad, Wilkin able to record the out. That's officially ruled a pop out to the third baseman, and in an exciting but scary fashion, the inning is over. So this game is now official after back. It is Harwich 2, Gateman 1. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the sixth from Spillane Field, Colin Casey alongside Tyler Henry. The Mariners lead it 2-1 over the Wareham Gatemen, and they will face their third pitcher of the game as Wareham going to the bullpen once again. Carter Rustad, the right-hander, coming in. Rustad from the University of San Diego, the junior from La Palma, California. Looking to keep this a one-run game as his team is finally able to get on the board the last half inning. And for Rustad, this is his first appearance with the Gatemen.
Seeing this year for Wareham, a team that lost 12 guys to Team USA, and they'll have another.
Over. It wasn't exactly what hit high in the air, towering fly ball down. Kern working towards the foul line, makes the catch.
Having fun at the expense of Spillane Field, but let's give them credit. They do have lights. No chance of a game being called early due to darkness here.
Yeah, and not canceling. Here, run out. Count now 0-1.
Going to make the postseason. We will.
Fouls that one up into the backstop and about. It's pretty deep back there. I don't know if it's White House, but Rustad working from the windup. Foul. Yeah. Spoiled back by Beck.
Really so here, White House, a couple of chain link fences. It's almost a guaranteed run on a wild pitch if you've got a runner at third.
Get him a chase, breaking ball. Rip to at third.
Pitches to waste. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him waste another one here on a 1-2. Try to get him to chase something maybe up and out.
Beck lined in a
Yeah, they may be trying to argue that field.
to play with the glove. Still a great job making that stop, but down. Second hit. Guy. Virginia digs into the box. First pitch he sees. Fast.
Yeah, took a healthy at that one. Lead again, an opportunity to drive in two, but Harwich just needs to string together some consistent hits here. That's how they did it back in the first inning. They did strand three. Since then, they've done a better job of that. Neither team has really had a lot of base runners to work with.
Ball the outside corner. That's in for a strike. Count now 0-2. Apologize for any technical difficulties we have. Trying to get things corrected. Pitch, check, swing. Newell able to hold up 1 and 2. Jordan swings in, and another fastball for strike 3. First strikeout for Carter Rustad, and is able to get a big out number 2 with so Zach Preisner comes in. He is for 2. Preisner time. What a throw by Jimmy Crooks. Right on the money to get back. Just like that, the inning is over. So Rustad comes in and pitches a scoreless 6th inning. Into the bottom half, the Gatemen look to even things up. They trail 2-1 to the Mariners here on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.